Hello and welcome to Verbling. I am teacher Oakley. For the next hour, we will continue our series this week at this particular time slot here on Verbling, looking at the TOEFL speaking exam. Today, we are going to be looking specifically at questions 1 and 2. I will walk through a very basic templated response to kind of give you the idea of the organization with the students, with you guys. And then I will present a lot of practice questions and I'll give you feedback for these questions 1 and 2 on the TOEFL speaking exam. These are called independent questions. You're basically just given the question. You can see it, you hear a narrator, you're given 15 seconds only to prepare your response, and then you need to speak for 45 seconds. It is timed, it is recorded, it is a computerized test, and that's it. Okay. Well, in a nutshell, that's the exam questions 1 and 2, and that's our lesson plan for today. Okay, hello Julio, how are you?
Hello, Oakley. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great, glad to hear it. Nice to see you again.
How's everything over there?
Same, it's hot. That's what it is. It's very hot today. It's okay. Things are going well. How are you? How's everything over there?
Hot and humid and rainy the mornings and at night.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, it's the start of rainy season, but it's kind of on and off. Hasn't made up its mind yet. Okay.
That's what you call what you guys call the monsoon season, right? Monsoon.
Well, most of Southeast Asia calls it monsoon season. I don't know. Filipinos prefer to call it rainy season, but it's the same, amounts to the same thing. Yeah. It's a little different. The monsoon area they just get a lot of constant rain. Here we get from the Pacific, we get storms coming in, typhoons and tropical storms. So it's on again and off again. It's a little different.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Plenty of room in the class for any other students who would like to join us. It doesn't really matter when you join the class. I will present, I'm going to work with you, Julio, here to present a very basic template of what you need to be doing in the TOEFL exam, questions 1 and 2, sorry. And then we're just going to practice, and that's it. We'll try a bunch of questions. So I guess let's just get started. Well, after I quickly welcome Senia. Hello, Senia.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Basically, in the question number 1, you're asked to pick something, pick your favorite whatever, or pick one out of many, a preference. It's a preference question. Pick one and then explain why you would choose that one. So, okay, a little description and also a little bit of opinion why you would like to do that. Okay, so here's a typical example we're going to use as an example, and then we're going to analyze it a little bit, then we'll do a lot more practice. So Julio, go ahead, give it a shot. Describe a place you would like to visit and explain why you chose this location. Use details and examples to support your position.
Probably I would love to visit New York. and mostly because I've seen a lot of movies that take place in New York, and I think it's like the heart of the American culture. And I also would like to compare my English that I've only learned through textbooks with the true New Yorker English, and I think I'm gonna get really surprised about how different my English is in comparison to the New York English. And I would love to learn some new words. I also heard about some great places like um, I'm okay, forgot the name. It's like a big park, Central Park. Yeah, I knew I would remember. And I saw the movie Home Alone 2, and I fell in love with the movie. It took place in New York, so I don't know, something about the city. It's attracting to me.
Okay. All right. Well, while your command of English is obviously very good, first of all, my comment, I don't know if New York is the city to practice speaking English, because basically you can walk down 5 blocks in New York and overhear 20 different conversations and never hear English. But in
Okay.
any case, uh,
It's
yeah,
also for it's also for
joke.
Seinfeld. I'm a big fan of Seinfeld, and I forgot to
Yeah,
mention that.
yeah,
So
well, that's a great show. Actually, I like that. Seinfeld, I will give you points on that one. Seinfeld, I did live in New York for a while, and I think Seinfeld, how that craziness, Seinfeld very well expresses the craziness that is New York. And that show always really hit home to me, and I thought that really did represent New York. Anyway, okay, we're just conversing, and all right. Since we're looking at these questions in light of TOEFL, while okay, obviously you have very good English, you used some adverbs probably, mostly. You introduced a point by saying also. All right. Generally speaking, a very good answer. I would like to share with you kind of a template of uh, what you could possibly do slightly better, and what you did, and show you how what you did actually in most cases match the template. I'm showing you a template because unlike the IELTS exam, in which case adding as much detail, it's perfectly okay to get a little bit off track because that will help you add detail. The TOEFL exam is boringly direct, and the big difference between IELTS and TOEFL is TOEFL that is scoring your actual answer, and IELTS could care less. They're really much more focused on your use of English. Okay, so for both questions 1 and 2, we can use basically the same very basic template. It is, you may notice, it is also the basic template that we use for academic writing. Pretty much the same idea. You're going to give your introductory, in writing an introductory paragraph in these questions where you're providing description and opinion. All right, there you go. Start off, state your personal preference. All right, your introductory sentence. I would like to visit Italy. Okay. Julio, you pretty much did this. You started off, probably I would like to visit New York. Simple, direct, to the point. No need to get fancy in this TOEFL exam. You have a limited time, but so you really kind of need to be fairly direct. Okay, and all right, Julio, you gave me a couple different reasons with some added detail. That's it. It's quite simple. The basic template for questions 1 and 2 in TOEFL, uh, the same for both. It's very straightforward. Give your topic sentence, or your introduction sentence, give your first reasons. I would choose to visit Italy because it has a lot of history, and then very simple reason and a little extra detail or an example. Fine. Julio brought up Home Alone, brought up a movie. That's great. Something that you read about, saw, experienced, your friend told you about, whatever. Or you can entirely make up examples. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so see how it's done here. I would choose to visit Italy because it has a lot of history. For example, Italy has many interesting Roman ruins. It would be interesting to see these historic sites. What are they doing? Fairly straightforward. They are using transitionals, transition words, signal phrases, for example, another reason, and they're using some topic-related vocabulary, nice collocations, Roman ruins, historic sites. That's basically the idea. Culture. All right, another reason I would like to visit is for the culture. Okay, not an example, but some more detail. Italy has been home to many great artists, and the museums there contain some of the most famous works of art. Okay, there you got a compound sentence, two clauses connected with and, complex sentence connected with because, simple sentence, simple sentence, simple sentence. Okay. All you have to do is show that you can use different sentence structures, that you can introduce your ideas, for example, another reason, and that's it. The template is basic. Introduction, reason, detail, reason, detail. This template happens to have three reasons. In reality, I strongly doubt that you are ever going to get a chance for three reasons. In fact, it's better to have two reasons with more detail than to have five reasons. You're not supposed to be making a list. The details are important and really essential to getting a good score. That's where you're going to be creating your more complex sentences and adding topic-related vocabulary. So really, the reasons you introduce, you're concerned about using good organization or these signal phrases, another reason, finally. Okay, and then your details where you add a nice long sentence with a lot of detail. That's it. Okay, that's basically the idea, and that's it. So, all right, let's try another one. Same template. Okay, Senia, I'll let you try this one. All right. For this practice, at least for now, let's not worry about the time too much. Don't add that stress to yourself. In fact, I would recommend that for people preparing for the TOEFL exam. Don't worry about the time as you practice whatever, listening, writing, speaking, reading, the first once or twice, and then add the time element later. First, concentrate on your accuracy. So I don't want you to worry about time, Senia. Here you go. Here's your question. Describe your favorite hobby and why you enjoy it. Use details and examples to support your point. Okay. Whenever you're ready to go. Yeah.
I want to tell you about my favorite hobby, and it is sport. I like sport because it is very healthy and I can build the body of my dream. So I started to go to the gym about 3 years, and since then I love it at all. So I can mix two pleasant and useful things for me. I can doing a cardio, and at this time I can learning a new word in English, and English is also my favorite hobby. Uh, Also, I think sports very um, it's very useful and interesting nowadays, and you can find new friends in this area because everyone likes sport, and if you are a sport person, I think it will be more easy to to communicate with other wealthy and healthy people. So I like sport, and I think it's the most useful and interesting hobby in the world.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me give you some feedback here. All right. Obviously, well, I don't know if it's obvious to you because but that was definitely over 45 seconds. So you have to kind of contract that a little. Uh, I don't know, economize it a little. One thing, you gave me a nice conclusion. I'm actually going to start with your conclusion and then go back to the beginning. You gave me a nice conclusion. It is okay. My most favorite hobby in the world, or whatever. Okay, a nice superlative structure there. The deal with giving a conclusion, it's not necessary. On the TOEFL exam, you'll be able to see your time. There's a little bar that's marking your time countdown. It is not necessary. It won't affect your score if you're not able to give a conclusion. Basically, you give a conclusion when you see you've run out of things to say, and you still have 10 or 15 seconds left. Go ahead and add a conclusion at that point. Okay, going back to the beginning. I'm sorry I started at the end. Okay, Sinia, well, okay, your favorite hobby is sport. Now, okay, I'm not sure if you mean sports, like all sports, badminton, billiards, bowling, baseball, boxing, swimming, because that's what
No,
it
I
sounds.
say I started to go to the gym, so
Right.
sport in the gym.
So I suppose you mean working out. My favorite hobby is working out, or you could say going to the gym.
hmm
Uh, okay. Uh, all right. Instead of sport, sport is like a huge category. Okay. So in English, at least I don't know. At least myself as an American, we wouldn't say I enjoy sport. That is an enormous category. It's not really detailed enough. Okay. All right. Okay, I understood you to mean that later, but at first I had no idea. Let's one other thing. Okay, sports. Okay, we have a little problem here with American and British. Okay, Americans enjoy sports with an S. We always say it with an S. Uh, It's when we talk about in general, it's uncountable. You can count it. There are 3 sports I really enjoy, but I enjoy sports. British say I enjoy sport, no S. Like, same thing. It's uncountable. They just say it without an S. And you can count it. If I enjoy 3 sports, would be correct. Be British or American. Um, you also said, yes, if you're a sports person. Okay. Um, Okay, just want to point out that British use the term sports person or sportsman, now sports person, I suppose. Americans use the word athletes because the word sportsman for an American is something completely different. A sportsman is somebody who enjoys outdoor sports such as sailing, fishing, hunting, mountaineering, camping, those types of outdoor activities. Totally different thing than somebody who plays, football or baseball or basketball. Okay, so anyway, not that it matters. Now, okay, in the TOEFL exam, just as in the IELTS exam, all of these exams, just if you're going to use you used all British references, and that's fine. You're not going to lose points, even though TOEFL is primarily an American test, an American company. IELTS is a British company. Doesn't matter. You can use American words and slang and construction elements in an IELTS test. You can use British in a TOEFL test. You won't lose points. You may lose points if you cross them up, if you keep going back and forth, British and American. I just want to make that point. Okay, and Senia, I can achieve the body of my dream. You can use that phrase, the body of my dreams. However, it's a colloquial expression, but it's the body of my dreams, the job of my dreams, the whatever, the girl of my dreams, the man of my dreams, whatever. Or you can simply say my dream body. Either way. But anyway, it should be plural. I started to go about 3 years, Senia. You're talking about going to the gym. I started to go about 3 years. You need to say ago. You didn't say 3 years ago. All right, and then you said I can doing the cardio, or okay, 2 things. Don't use an ing after a modal. I must swimming, I can doing, I should doing my homework. You can't use an ing after any modal in any case, ever. That, and you don't need to say the cardio. We don't know what specific cardio you're talking about. You're using it as a general term. Cardio as a general term is uncountable. So I can do cardio. That's it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Lots of feedback there. Okay. All right. Now, also the last thing, okay, if you're actually doing this for any standardized English speaking test, do not be shy about loading it up with the expressions like, first of all, I should say, the first reason is, for example, okay, I think you did give me some kind of expression for another thing or something like that. But in any case, don't be shy about using those organizational phrases. You really you can't overdo it. You can't. Every one of these tests love that whole idea of using tons of those. Okay, let's try question number 2. Option. Choose an option question. Okay. All right. The second type of task. Basically the template is exactly the same. Okay, they're going to ask you to choose between 2 options. One common mistake is to try to talk about both options. Big mistake. You only have 45 seconds. You certainly do not have time to thoroughly do an argumentative essay on the pluses and minuses of 2 options. Not in 45 seconds. No, you don't. Not even a native speaker could pull that off. You just can't do it. So it's not enough time. So pick one. Which option should you pick? Whichever one is easier to talk about. Really doesn't matter if you yourself believe it or not. This isn't a lie detector test. It really doesn't matter. Whatever's easier for you to talk about is the correct answer. But basically, the template is the same. You present your opinion, which one you would choose, and reason, detail, conclusion if there's time or not. That's it. Okay. All right. So, Julio, you want to try this one?
Should.
All right, here it is. Some universities give financial aid in the form of grants, which don't have to be paid back, whereas others provide financial assistance in the form of loans, which must be paid back. Which option do you think is better and why? Support your decision with reasons and examples. Okay, that's it. Again, don't worry too much about the time. I'm not concerned about that right now.
Okay. I firmly believe that grants are the best option in this case. Um, First and foremost, the idea that you don't have to pay that money back to the school definitely eases the the burden on students while they are studying, and so they don't have to find a part-time job or save money to pay back to the school. So definitely that will make them have a peace of mind and focus all their attention on studying. Secondly, once the student graduates, um, most of the students end up with a huge debt, and they spent many years trying to pay the debt back to school, and that definitely has a negative impact in their lives, and especially in their economy. And nowadays, the economy is really hard everywhere in the world. So I think it will be a great, um, how would you say that? Will be a great encouragement to not have the students paying that money back. So therefore, I believe the grants are a good option for students, especially if they come from a low-income family.
Okay. All right. Now, the organization is so clear, firmly believe, first and foremost. Okay, secondly, also like use of choice words that you can definitely use choice words, vocabulary words for the TOEFL exam. When we start looking at the reported speech tomorrow and the next day, we're definitely going to spend a little time looking at good vocabulary. But I like that. Impact. Maybe encouragement. I was thinking stimulus, maybe.
I was looking for a word. That's the
Yeah.
one that.
Is that the word? I was trying
Yeah,
to
probably that is
I
similar.
was trying to mentally give that one to you. But my ESP powers are pretty slim today.
Didn't get it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. All right, that was a well-organized answer. A very clear opening sentence. Very clearly, okay, a good answer, all right, is one that you hear and you can envision the paragraphing in your mind. You can actually picture how it would be written in paragraphs. That is a good answer. Please remember that TOEFL basically is scoring you on three things, and actually one of them is two things. Your delivery, Julio, got to be a few too many ums in your speech. Not terribly bad, but your answer probably just a few ums would not make a difference. You would probably have a 4 for that answer. Okay, they score 0 to 4 in like 0.5, 1, 1.52. That would probably be a 4, I think, even with a few ums, because there was no other problems at all. No sentence structure problems, no vocabulary. In fact, good vocabulary, strong vocabulary. Yeah, so look, they're scoring. What are they scoring? Fluency, which the problem, and organization is like one thing. The organization was excessively strong, and delivery was pretty good. One self-correction, or not really even a self-correction, a pause and a few ums. That's not a big deal. You can get away with small mistakes. Vocabulary and grammar are only 1/3 of your score. So your actual English elements are not that important. All they really need to hear you do, use a few topic-related words or collocations of words, and use proper verb tense, which is not hard because the questions are all very direct, and show that you can use a mix of simple and complex sentences, and that's it. That's 1/3. You're done. The other third is how completely you answer the question, and does your answer actually meet the requirements in the question. So there you go. That was a very good answer. You can make small mistakes with things like articles or prepositions or something, and still not lose a whole lot of ground in actuality, as long as you're doing all those other things. Okay, let's a quick examination of. We don't even have to look. All right, just to look at some of the language. I think it is better to offer student loans. I prefer loans because blah, blah, blah. Furthermore, actually, lastly, okay, you know what? I liked your answer better. You gave a better answer than my example here, than my template. Okay, Sinya, you're up. Let's try question number 2, the options. Here's your question. Some people believe that universities should require students to take classes on ethics, whereas others believe a school should focus only on academic issues. Which do you think is better? Support your decision with reasons and examples, blah, 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 blah. It always says this last part, but that is important. You have to do it in order to be answering the question. Okay, when you're ready.
Okay, in my opinion, I think that universities should require students to take classes on ethics because it's very important for them in their future life. They should have some ideas how to behave in their world and with other people. Ethics is very important nowadays because we start to lose these feelings, what is right or what is wrong. And this subject is very useful for them, and maybe our world can change. And also, I think that it should be after main classes subject, and the subjects should be for choice of students if they want or they don't want to do it, because if they don't want to study ethics, I think it will be a waste of time because they don't listen anything and just spend their and teachers' time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If they've decided that they're going to be a world-class criminal, what's the point? What's the point of an ethics class? You're already a gangster. Never mind. Okay. Funny. Okay, Sinya. All right. Like to start. In my opinion, okay. Okay, this is another tactic. I had basically said, and I'm not completely right about everything, you know, I'm just giving you advice here, but I had said earlier, give a nice, clear, clean topic sentence or introduction. You gave me a nice, long, compound, complex sentence, actually. And actually, that's not such a bad idea, because you actually have time to think about your first sentence. So maybe that's the time where you want to use a more complicated sentence structure. Here again, it depends what works for you. If you can just make up other things in your as you practice fairly easily, you can brainstorm on the fly as you go. Then maybe considering making a really good complicated sentence in the first sentence would be a good idea. I don't know. Okay, anyway, very good sentence. Sinya, how to behave. You tried to give me an infinitive verb, but you said how to behavior. All right.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Sure. What you said was something, I'm paraphrasing here, but you said something to the effect of young people don't know how to behavior, but it should be
Behave.
how to
Behave.
behave. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Infinitive verb. Okay. Okay. All right. I think maybe I misinterpreted, but again, what I was mentioning about Julio's, a very good answer is very clear where the paragraphs are, where you stop a paragraph and start another one. I couldn't tell with yours if you were giving me more detail or if the whole part about ethics is very important nowadays. I didn't know if that was a new point or did it really attach to or was it part of the previous point? Okay? So you didn't, it's not that you did anything wrong per se, but in regards to these academic tests, that the organization is such a huge factor in your score, you have to make it more than obvious. You know, whatever. Okay. So, you know, just additionally, ethics is very important if it was another point. Okay. All right, just wasn't completely obvious. You did use also later, I know, I noted that. Mr. Preposition is very useful, them. I didn't hear for. I don't know. It's very it should be very useful for them. We usually, well, we can co-locate useful with for or useful with to. Obviously, to verb, for noun. All right. Okay, got a little confused with after main classes subject for choice. The sentence structure got quite confused.
Yes, I forgot this verb. It's how to say, it's a subject after the main classes, and it's a
optional.
faculty. It's a, yes, optional or facultative. I don't know how to say.
Yeah, an optional course. I know, that's what I was thinking the whole time you were saying it. She needs the vocabulary word to make this easy. Yeah, I was thinking that. Okay, right. You have mandatory classes for your major, and then you have optional classes. Right. Okay, and last, another co-location with the preposition. That young people don't listen anything. Don't listen to anything. You listen to something. We always put to after listen. I don't listen music. I listen to music. Or I don't listen to my mother. Not I don't listen my mother. You need to have two. Okay. Okay. Let's try another round here. Wait a minute. Where the heck am I here? Okay. 370. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. Just to share with you a little bit the screen. You're going to see a screen like this. And it's going to count down. The screen is going to be really, really super basic. Okay, and so question 1 and 2 are super basic. You see a big screen like this, you both hear the question in your headphones, and you're going to see it just like this. Another question 1. Julio, back to you. Let's try another practice question. If, by the way, question 1 where you pick your favorite or your what would you choose? It can be your favorite person, who is your most admired person, or or it could be a place. We already did one question with place. It could be thing. All right. Could be anything. Okay, here's your question. If you had an entire month to do whatever you would like to do, what would it be? Okay.
All right.
Huh.
If I have an entire month and to do whatever I want to do, so I had the money to do it, I would love to go to the mountain. I love the mountain. First because the cold weather. So where I live, it's a very hot city. It's warm most of the year, and it gets me sweat and it's sticky, my skin, my clothes, everything. And I would like to take a break from the hot weather and go to a very, very cold mountain and just shiver for 30 days. And um, then probably I would spend the whole month out of the grid, like trying to get my own food, hunting and setting traps for animals, starting fires and living in a cave. I would like to try for just 30 days of my life how my ancestors used to live and maybe get some perspective out of it. So, summing it up, definitely I would like to go somewhere cold, a mountain, be by myself, think about my life and my ancestors and everything.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Uh, now, okay. We had a topic sentence. We had a couple. All right. We talked about a couple different aspects of it: the heat, temperature, and then living like a caveman. Okay. All right. Some small mistakes. I would like to go to the mountain. The mountains. If we say the mountain with no S, then we're talking about some specific mountain, which I have no idea what mountain you're talking about. So you would have to use the general countable. When we talk about general countable nouns, we use a plural. I would like to go, so same thing. I would like to go to the mountains, like that. Okay.
Okay, all
All
right.
right. And you get sweat. You said I get sweat and sticky. Should be sweaty. Use the adjective. The adjective for sweat. Sweat is the noun or the verb. I sweat.
Okay.
Verb. I have sweat all over my body. That's the noun. I get sweaty and sticky. Sticky's good. Okay. All right. Just small things off the grid, not out of the grid.
Off the grid, yeah, something
Yeah,
like that. Off the grid.
off the grid. Yeah, it's pretty standardized. And you can get a perspective out of it. Well, that's probably okay. Get perspective from it. Um, well, okay. The difference here, we usually both are co-locations. You get something out of it, you get something from it. We generally use get something from it when we're talking about. Uh, oh well, you're talking about a benefit. Well, I was going to say one we use for the past and one for the future. I guess we can use both of those. I guess it's okay. I was going to say you get something out of it. Usually you use that for the past. But I don't. I guess it doesn't really matter. Never mind. Okay, never mind. I'm babbling. Okay, but overall, all right. kind of small mistakes may prevent you from getting a 4, but it's, again, I know, beating a dead horse, I say it over and over again. Really, the most important thing is the organization of your speaking, because once you're doing that, everything else comes together. If you're using these organizing subordinators, you're creating bigger, more complex sentences. Your vocabulary, everything seems to improve. Okay. Senior, let's try number 2. Another one for you, choosing an option. Okay, here is your question. Some people believe that same-sex schools are more effective, whereas other people believe that schools with both boys and girls are better. Which approach do you think is better? Blah, 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 details and examples. It always says include details and examples. Okay, there you go. One thing you can think of, before you start, I just want to make a point here. They do this a lot, actually. Same-sex schools, well, schools with boys and girls are better. Okay, one thing you think of immediately, especially when they do this, they spend 5, 6, 7, 8 words to explain something we have one word for in English. Definitely, you only have 15 seconds, but definitely, if you can, think a little bit about these keywords they're using. Are there other words? For example, to express a school with boys and girls, we have a word for that. Okay, so just another thing to be mindful of when you're preparing, for 15 seconds. Especially when they do things like that. There's very obviously a word that we use that they're purposefully not using in the question to give you the chance to use it, actually. Okay, Senior, anyway.
I'm sorry, and what I can use?
Haha!
It's a common school or different sex school?
Nope. For same-sex school, no, there's not really a word. Single-sex school, same-sex school, okay, but for schools with boys and girls, it's a co-ed school.
Co-ed?
Yeah, that's a school that has boys and girls. Co-ed, whatever,
Co-ed.
boys and girls.
Okay. I can start, yes?
Yeah, sure, whenever you're ready.
I think that the co-ed schools are more better for their pupils because such kind of school study us to communicate with a different person and different sexes. I think we have our religion, and our religion is not against such school, but Muslims school, I think for sure have as separate buildings for women and for men, or boys and girls, and I think it's right there, but we live in our country and we have such structure in school, so I think it will be right for the future girls and boys, because for me I think it's very boring and don't and uninteresting to study with the same sex person in the class.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. A little feedback for you. Senior, please don't say more better. Much better is okay, but not more better. Because, of course, we use more or less, or most and least for superlatives. to create the superlative. So when you say more better, you're really saying more better. Better is good, is a comparative for good. So better defined means more good. So it's redundant. Doesn't work. In fact, don't use more for any, okay, more, you can't say more thinner, more fatter, more anything. It doesn't work. Okay, because they study us to communicate. Well, no, they teach us, right? Okay,
Yes,
that
yes.
the teacher teaches, the student studies, or the student learns. Okay. All right. With different people, then you said with different people, different, well, with different person of different sexes. Okay. Yeah. A person with different sexes is something else entirely. So it should be with different people, plural, different sexes or different genders, whatever the word was you used. Couldn't understand the word. Worrying. Did you say worrying and uninteresting? I didn't. I don't.
Boring.
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 Oh, not worrying.
Yes.
Boring. Okay, boring and uninteresting. Okay, speaking of boring, I have to make a point here. Now, okay, you started to talk about religions and Muslims, and okay, you know what? You're getting a little too deep, frankly. Uh, okay, not that you overly did it, but I want to warn you off from something here. I want to make a point here. Do not, for a second, think that you have to be particular when you answer these questions in an IELTS or TOEFL or CAE or FCE or whatever. Any of these alphabet alphabet English standardized exams. Do not think that you are required to be in any way interesting because you're not. You don't have to sound like an intellectual. You don't have to be funny. You don't have to be fascinating. In fact, if you are boring, boring as dust, boring as dirt, but you do a better job of organizing your speech than all the other people taking the test, you're going to end up with a very good score. Please remember, your objective is to get a good score. Your reasons that you give, in any case, for any questions here, these TOEFL questions 1 and 2, or for the IELTS questions, whatever, you do not have to give good reasons. No one said that you have to give reasons. The question says, give details and examples, all right? It says explain why. It doesn't say give good reasons why, and it doesn't say anything about good details and examples. Your reasons can be very basic and simple, very boring and dry. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you can say it clearly and give another sentence of detail or an example of it. Okay, that's what's really important. So, what I want to warn you off from, Senia, is, okay, stay on the top. Don't go too far off topic, bringing in other controversial, way different aspects, religion and the world economy and global warming and how it affects the life cycle of the spotted newt. Whatever. Don't get too far afield because you're searching for, important things to say. They don't have to be. They could be silly things to say. Okay, I can say, for example, I think it is much better for students to attend a co-ed school. First of all, I think there's a lot more funny jokes that can be told between boys and girls than you can really tell if you're having all one gender school. Let's face it, there are a lot more good sex jokes about relationships between boys and girls. My second reason is that, frankly, if I'm going to sit in school all day, I would rather be looking at pretty girls than a bunch of ugly boys. Maybe that's just my own personal thing because obviously I'm a heterosexual male, but okay, I don't see why I should be forced to sit there looking at ugly looking guys all day long. All right, is my answer kind of stupid? Yes. Is it juvenile? Indeed. However, I'm able to give reasons and give detail, a little bit of extra detail behind each reason. So that's my point. You don't have to be brilliant to get a great score. In fact, the simpler you can keep it, probably the better score you're going to end up getting in reality. What happened here? Okay. Oops. Bye-bye. Okay, maybe one more question, maybe. Okay. Let's see. All right, Julio, can give you another options question.
All right.
Okay. They're kind of boring. Okay, Senior, you're gonna take off. Okay, well let's. Okay, here we go. Oh, come on. All right. Some companies require people to dress in suits or ties. Really should be suits and ties. Others allow casual dress. Which one would you prefer?
I think I would prefer casual dress because, especially if it's a company that needs people to be creative. First of all, I think that casual dress gives a more light and atmosphere in the office, and everybody will be able to communicate better and more freely if they feel comfortable. I personally like to wear shorts, especially if it's hot, and I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing a suit and a tie in such a hot weather as the one we have here in my hometown. That would make me feel very uncomfortable. Um, Secondly, I think that um, clothes is part of your personality, so I think you will be able to spot everyone's personality according to their clothes, and that will give a cue to the managers to realize who is who and who can get a promotion or not. So for those reasons, I believe casual clothes are much better choice for companies.
Okay. Okay. Quick feedback here before I have to go. It keeps. I think you said it keeps a more light atmosphere, which actually may be okay, but creates an atmosphere is a much more common collocation. Something
Okay.
creates an atmosphere. Okay. Also, in such a hot weather, it should be just in such hot weather. You don't need a here.
Yeah, it's whether it's uncomfortable,
Weather's,
right?
yeah, that's right. Weather's uncountable. Okay, and the last thing, clothes is part of their personality. Clothing is part of a person's personality. Should it be clothes are part of a person's personality? I think so, which is weird. That doesn't make sense though. Clothes being uncountable. Huh.
Mhm.
Okay, I
Actually,
think
I've been having like trouble sometime differentiating when to use clothes and clothing, and sometimes I
uh,
find it difficult.
yeah. Yeah, because I think this is one of those cases where we have colloquial. I think clothes are important. Clothes are part of your personality. I think we say clothes are, but technically speaking, it's wrong. We say clothing is part of your personality. Clothing is important because clothing is very obviously an uncountable noun, but so is clothes. I just think it's very strange, but we tend to use the plural when we talk about clothes. It's confusing. I think that's a colloquial weird exception, actually. Okay, in any case, our time is up. Thanks a lot, Julio. Thanks for your help
Teacher, I
today.
have one last question. How do you call
Sure.
this?
What's that?
It's a picture.
Oh, I just got one of those today. I use one of those in my house. That's it. Well, what it says, a 5-gallon jug. Okay, a jug of water.
A jug
I
of
call it,
water.
yeah, I call it a jug. Yeah.
Okay.
Or, when I'm at home, I've got to go get the water because that's my drinking water. I use the same thing. Okay. In any case, thanks a lot.
Thanks, teacher, for the feedback.
Okay.